How are you?
Well, I got fired.
What?
Yeah. I got fired from a job I fucking hate. Now, and do you know why I got fired? It's the best stupid reason I've ever gotten in my life.
Why did you get fired? What happened?
I apparently showed my midriff and people complained.
What?
Yeah, that's why I got fired. So the CEO and founder, sorry, had a surprise birthday party in his office for him. Well, he didn't have the party. It was for him. He wasn't in his office. The lights were out, apparently. So I walked in and I jokingly yelled, surprise, because he wasn't in there yet and I'm not him. And then next person to walk in was not him. And then finally he walked in. Anyways, that was on a Friday. On Monday, I get to the office and I cannot log into anything, like can't log into my email. So I jokingly went to his executive assistant and said, do I not work here anymore? And she, of course, went white. And I was like, in my mind, I'm like, you people. So anyways, that's when the human resource, he wasn't even there. So the human resources woman took me into the conference room and said, you showed your midriff and we've got several complaints, so we're letting you go. And I'm like, I don't even remember it. So apparently, now mind you, I'm going to show you my midriff, Freedom, which I wouldn't normally do because I am fat, right? So apparently they saw the top of my pants and that was offensive. Yeah.
I've never heard of such a thing, ever.
Me either. I mean,
If anything, that should be a case of like, hey, we need to chat. We got some complaints. Here's the complaint. Don't do it again.
Yeah. And by the way, they didn't get any complaints. It was a dark room. They didn't get any complaints. I knew all along I was eventually getting fired from this job. I thought it would be for a different reason, but they couldn't fire me for that reason.
Which was, or
well,
is.
Okay. So it's funny because I'd been hesitant to talk about my job because I got written up on my job a couple of months ago because I violated the social media policy. Yeah. And what I did was, so I told this story about how I said something that in hindsight, I felt was offensive to another person that I work with. And I called her to apologize to her because I respect her and I like her. And I said, sometimes in life, you have to own up for the things that you do wrong and apologize. That's the gist of this social media post. And she ended up, she wasn't offended. And it was a religious statement that was kind of, I'm going to tell you what I said. Okay.
What did you say? Yeah, let's hear it.
Now I can say whatever I want. But so I don't know if apparently not everybody in the world is aware of this. I feel our age is more aware. If you drop a flag on the floor or it's ripped and torn, do you know how to dispose of a flag?
I do not.
Oh, you have to burn it.
Oh.
You cannot just throw it in the trash. You need to burn it. That is what you do.
Okay.
No big deal. It's supposedly more respectful. Now, burning a flag because you're angry at a protest.
Right. That's not right.
Is different than just needing to dispose of this flag because you're not allowed to carry around a flag that's ripped, right? That's a no-no. That's against the rules. You're not supposed to drop it on the floor. If you drop it on the floor, it's desecrated. Okay. The same is true of a Bible.
Oh.
You cannot just throw a Bible away. You're supposed to burn it.
Okay.
So we had a storage unit full of Bibles that were donated to us. And I said, well, if we're not, why are we not just giving these away? We should give these to each and every person that comes through the program, right?
Right.
Let's give them away. If we're not going to give them away, then we need to burn them. That's what I said. And she almost had a heart attack. And I was like, and then I realized, well, she doesn't understand that I'm not talking about burning them like you would burn a flag at a protest. I'm
Right.
talking about, if you're going to get rid of Bibles, you can't just throw them in the trash.
Right.
And then once I explained it to her, she totally got it. And then everything was cool. And we're still friends. Matter of fact, we're going to dinner next Monday. And this was a while ago. But because what I said prior to that was I work for an organization that isn't a religious organization, but we are a religious organization, right? We give away Bibles. We do altar calls at our events, which is who here wants to accept Jesus into their life? Jesus.
Oh, that's very religious.
Hello. We have church every Tuesday night. We call it something else, but internally we call it church. You can go to their social media and there's social media posts with Bible verses emblazoned onto them on their social media. We're a religious organization.
Yeah, there's no question.
And that's what he got mad at is, well, that, and I said something else about, he assumed about him in a different post that he was really angry about. So I took those down and I got a little reprimand that I had violated the social media policy. So, which I accept. I didn't violate the social media policy because I didn't say what company I worked for. I've not mentioned who I work for. It's not on my Facebook page. It's not on my Instagram page. Okay. But all right, so I took it down. I signed their little social media policy egregious failure report or whatever. Yeah. But the truth of the matter is what I said in the other post, and the one he was really upset in, was that I don't get to do my job because he doesn't allow it, right? He just, I'll say, hey, we need to send out an email asking our donors to participate in a monthly giving campaign. And he'll be like, okay. And then, so I'll write it and then I'll get an email back. I write all the emails. And so I say, okay. And then I just wait. It's still to this day hasn't been done. But he'll say to me, how come we only have X number of donors? I'm like, well, because you won't send out the fucking email. So I had said that I had felt like I was a fraud because I get paid and I go to work every day, but I don't get to do anything, right? I mean, you could walk into my office and ask me, hey, Sherry, how much money did we make last month? And I could pull you a report to tell you how much that was based on just the data I'm allowed to have. Mind you, I'm not allowed to have all of the data. So
why are you allowed to have that data?
Because these people are a little out there, right? And so I'm like, here's what I do know. Here's how I know it. I mean, I even did a list. Like, nobody asked me for this, but I did this list. And I said, hey, here's a list of people that have been giving monthly for at least 2 years. 2 consecutive years they've been giving monthly. We should be writing these people a very specific, gosh golly, you're awesome, unbelievable, thank you so much, thank you note. Do you think that got done? Because no. I'm not allowed to write the thank you notes, which I was more than willing to do. He's like, no, my name should be on them. Okay, here's the list. Yeah. So I thought for sure eventually, because I'm like, I'm working really hard at not being a liar, and I'm a liar because I'm human and humans lie, and that's what we do. we try and cover stuff up. And as I've said it before, I mean, like jokingly, but I'm dead serious. Like if I was doing bad stuff, I wouldn't want anybody to know about it, right? Like I like every once in a while I catch myself picking my nose and I immediately like, oh my God, who saw? Right.
But you're talking about when you're out in public, not when you're home.
Yeah, no, well, even at home, you're like, well, who's looking in my window? Like my windows are open right now, but it's not, but I mean, but in general. So what I had said to someone else,
Uh-huh.
because oddly enough, in a meeting, he out and out asked us to lie to someone. And I was like, fortunately, I got COVID. I mean, who would have thought COVID would be like something I look
A
for?
lifesaver that you're like, thank God I had it.
Thank God. So I got COVID, so I couldn't go to work. But I told someone else at the office, I have lived a lie for so many years. I lie about my depression. I
Mhm.
lied about my marriage. I have lied about so many things in my life
Mm,
for so long that
yeah.
I just don't have the heart for it anymore. And if that's what you want from me, I am going to fail you. I will fail you. I already know. And I go, I am not going to, I won't lie. Now, I'm trying not to be overtly obnoxious, right? Like, no,
What do
those,
you mean by that?
like, no, those pants do make you look fat. That's never going to come out of my mouth. Never. I'm not honest to hurt people. I don't feel like intentionally hurt someone,
Of course.
but
But you're not gonna, oh, sorry, my phone is ringing, but it's upstairs. All of a sudden my watch started dinging. I'm like, what?
what's
Sorry.
happening? Yeah, but I'm not gonna lie, like bold-faced lie just for bold-faced lying.
No.
And that is true. That's how I felt about going to work every day and then like not having anything to do. Like I was working on my own stuff. I was working on Shower Talks. I was working on Build Up or Shut Up. I was taking a Coursera Google Analytics course.
Yeah, you said you were going to do that.
Yeah, I am. I like it. It's great. I'm almost done. I got one module left. It's very exciting. So, I mean, I was doing that and I felt like I was a horrible human being because here I am lying. Well, I was an idiot, duh, and I mentioned it in a post on my social media and he heard it, right? And I thought for sure, well, I'm going to get fired. No, he got mad because what I was saying was he felt I was saying he was a micromanager. That's what he got out of that post. And I'm like, no.
Oh my God.
That's why he was upset. So anyways, I said, I do absolutely everything I can, like instantaneously when it's my job. So like the other day he walked in and asked me a specific question about our donors. I answered it.
Yeah.
Right away. I don't mess around. I don't be like, oh, I'm in the middle of this class that I'm taking, or wait, I'm working on this video for Shower Talks, so I can't help you right now. I'm like, yeah, let me get that for you. So I couldn't get fired for my job performance because my job performance was
You were doing what you could based
perfect.
on,
Yeah. So I got fired for showing my midriff.
I mean,
And mind you, I don't remember doing that, so it wasn't a significant event in my life, and I'm pretty sure they didn't get any complaints about it. But a lot of people were in that room. Two of those people were his children, adult. One of them's an adult child. So I don't know. What really bothers me.
It sounds like you're back in junior high.
Oh my God, it's almost worse than that because it's religious junior high. So it's like, but what really is interesting is, and then, so there's the emotional side of me, like the human side of me. Number one, the side that wants to be good, for lack of a better word, right?
Right.
Because I don't have a better word. I want to be I want to be above reproach. Let's just say, right? Like, I don't want to be pious. I don't want to be holier than thou. I just don't want to be the reason negative things happen,
Of course.
right? And so there's that. So here's the funny thing is, I was there for 7 months. In those 7 months, I'm gonna lower the number. In the 7 months that I was there, probably 10 to 15 people quit. Oh yeah.
Out of how many?
Well, I mean, for the ones he put out, he brought them back in, right? So there's probably 30 employees.
That's a lot.
Oh no, and that was just the 7 months I was there. Prior to that, I'm like, so and so used to work here, and all of them quit. I'm probably one of the very, very, very few people that have gotten fired from that, and that sticks to my craw because I hated the job. I loved the work, right?
Right.
But at that particular institution, I was very unhappy. Enough that the people in my life were like, well, you were so unhappy there. And I'm like, yeah, but it was a job, right? And I was getting paid and not having to do anything.
I mean,
like, how often are you gonna get that job? So, which is funny because that's so not me. I don't mind working. I like working. I love being successful. I love being good at my job.
yeah.
And what I really loved is, so I was at a marketing summit via online, and they were talking about, donor retention and all of these things. And I'm like, oh, I recommended we do that. Or, oh no, I had that plan. And I was like, well, at least I know what I'm doing when it comes to my job, just not allowed to do it. And what was so funny was it didn't have to be my name on it. I'm like, I'll sign your name. I don't care.
You don't need the credit, right?
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like good riddance, kind of. I know that it's scary or kind of stressful in terms of the paycheck. Did they at least give you a severance?
No, of course not. I got fired.
Mm.
Now I'm thinking about filing a claim with the labor board. So I'm going to file a claim and see what happens.
File it. I mean, it can't hurt. And if you got it in writing.
Yeah, I do. So, but then I'm like, well, I'm not mad at the organization in general, and they do really good things, and I'm hoping they continue to help people.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to have to continue, but he's so toxic.
He sounds like
on some levels that I'm like, oh yeah, this is going to be interesting. What's real funny is he's not only a Trump supporter, but he's hoping Trump runs again so he can be in his administration. Yeah, that's why my sister is like, what are you doing? He's religious. Oh. He's not even spiritual. He's religious.
There's a difference. Yeah.
Oh, huge. And he's not, oh yeah. I realize, I'm like, but then there's
not a good fit.
What?
It was not a good fit.
It wasn't. It was a terrible fit.
But what's great is you got off a terrible ride.
Yes.
Now you can go look for whatever new exciting ride there is to jump on.
Agreed. And so I applied for a job. I have applied for several jobs already. I mean, my resume is ready to go. And it's funny because it's not my skill set that I doubt. I do doubt that I'm a good person. All of a sudden, I'm like,
oh my God, woman.
Getting fired from a job with a that's really awful, like with awful leadership. I'm like, maybe I'm horrible. I must be horrible.
No, you're really not.
Yeah, I'm really not.
You're really, really not. And I would definitely tell you if I thought you were kind of a shitty person. I wouldn't say it that way. I would be a little more tactful about it.
Yes.
Which
That's nice of you.
Yeah, but I would try to give you questions to ponder, like to think about it and maybe
Yeah.
come up with the answer on, but no, you're fucking not. You're not a bad person. You
Except
weren't
I'm not
even-
willing to lie, and maybe that, and you know what I mean? Like in business, is that, and I'm willing to not like overtly offer information. That was my thing, is I'm like, wow, maybe I could be absent the day this person comes in that he wants me to lie to. And that's exactly what happened, which is I felt kind of like a sign from God. But I'm like, I'm also, again, I'm not interested in hurting anyone's feelings, or although I did just say that some of those people are just not happy people, but
Sometimes people aren't happy. I mean, that's part of being human.
yeah.
And they're probably in a similar boat where it's not a good fit and
Yeah.
we're creatures of habit. So it's really hard to break a habit, even when it's bad for us. And that
Yeah.
includes jobs.
Yeah.